Do the clap. That's fine. We'll get that on the live. Let me bring the right screen. Let me bring the right tab up.
There we go.
No. Where's Firefox? Where's Firefox? There's Firefox. All right, clapping at 45.
Nailed it.
I've got some exciting news, guys. I've just seen on you probably see the same thing. It's Caps Lock Day, so there we go.
Mate. Fantastic.
So we should be able to. We can shout at everybody on the internet now today.
Like we haven't been already. I swear my mic's too hot. I've not used this setup in ages, dude. So I'm like, different setup today.
Well, we better check to see what's coming through. So, all right. Well, there's stuff coming through. Let's have a look. Yep, working on Twitch. We're working on everything. So we're going through to everything. All good. Caps Lock Day. Yay. Hard drive's dead. Clapping. All good. Yeah. Get anyone on the Suffolk Gram?
Skazz, yes.
Welcome to episode 203 of the Ranners podcast.
You had to say it, you bastard. Rest in peace, little drive. You cunt.
Poor Skazz.
Oh, mate.
How's your week been, Skazz?
It's been great, Ram. Thanks for asking. I don't believe it. It didn't love me anymore. I gave it one job, just to hold my files, all the saves to my games, and all of my porn. I miss you.
Which of those three do you miss the most?
Oh. No, that's
if the god of data appeared in front of you and said, Skazz, I can retrieve the data fully of one of those three categories.
Oh, I don't know.
Which one would you pick?
Them files, the files include the, like kids' birthdays and stuff, but the porn.
Well, memories can't replace porn, so
you are right.
It's.
I can remember the anniversary of a day that something happened that my life got completely flipped on its ass, or I can look at something fun.
Let me put it this way. Realistically, how many times in your future are you going to go back and watch the kids' birthdays?
Never.
Compared to after you're going to watch that porn.
No, you have a fair point. I should be...
I rest my case.
That's a good one. 5 months old and it had a hissy fit and died.
He's talking about the hard drive here, people, not the kids.
Oh no, mate, they make me feel well old. They're like 12 and 13 now. I can keep kids. I can't keep hard drives or PCs. Apparently, I'm a really shit boss. Apparently, I'm not a completely terrible dad, but I'm a shit boss. You've got one job. Hold these. So Boris Johnson, hold my beer.
Oh, he might be back,
Come on, Bojo. You can do it, son.
Oh, I tell you what. Yeah, as someone said on Reddit, Lizz Trust has suffered the ultimate fate to become a pub trivia question.
Mate, you got to think, she didn't even last as long as my drive.
No, she didn't. Your drive outlived Lizz Trust.
That's insanity.
To be fair, your drives outlived many. Your drives is probably outlived many PMs. But this trust is special.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, in the UK.
Did you see the lettuce?
Oh, no, Inky told me something about this. The wife told me something about that. That someone was timing.
Someone basically had a lettuce. They're trying to decide which is going to go first. Would the lettuce rot first, or would Lizz Trust leave? And Lizz Trust lost.
Wow.
So I think it's clear lettuce for the new PM.
Yeah, well, yeah, clearly. I mean, if it managed to go that long and not fuck up or anything. I mean, it didn't have any power at the time, but you know how it is.
Well, no. And yeah, exactly. But look, Lizz Trust had all that power and she fucked the entire country up and then unfucked it immediately because she just said, oh, everyone what was going to do, I'm not going to do. Bye.
Yeah. Who was the guy who she was running against to get the...
Is it Rishi Sunak?
Sunak, that's the one.
Sunak, that's it, yeah.
It was funny because I think I saw something about him and Truss were in a debate. And she was like, oh yeah, we'll do X, Y, Z. And because everyone was taking the piss out of Sunak, saying, yeah, he doesn't fit, he's not for the people, blah, blah, blah. And there's this one clip of him literally going to Lizz Trust, in so many words, what the hell do you think you're doing? Like, if you did that, you would cause absolute chaos. You know, you'd cause people's mortgages to rise. You'd cripple the country. And what do you know? We ignored him. She got in, did that very thing, and fucked us.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know enough about his policies and stuff to be. I mean, I would surprise me if by the end of the year, I think we've got a 70% chance of having a general election by the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, I never find myself. There's never enough policies. There are never enough policies in any one camp that I agree with. Everyone seems completely crooked. I mean, that's a standard thing. Like, no one is gonna be down that line that I straddle, kind of thing. But
yeah,
you know,
it's unlikely that any party will have all the policies that agree with you all the time. You've got to pick the ones that you agree. You've got to pick the side that you mostly agree with.
See, I don't think there's anything that I actually truly find that important. If you get what I mean, like, so if I find something that I think is important, I'll find a counterpoint that they do that just completely knocks that vote off the table.
So, if Rishi Sunak came up and said that if he gets the power, he'll have harsher penalties for poor hard drive manufacturers,
he's in.
yeah. I make a pledge: if your hardware doesn't last as long as Lizz Trust, then
we'll pay for the data recovery services and get you a new driver. So, son, you're in.
Yeah,
I'll make the call now.
Yes. Oh, bless.
Kim, Vladdy, get it sorted.
Yeah. Lizz Trust had very much the feel of somebody who was put in charge who had no clue what they were doing, and it demonstrated they had no clue what they were doing.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't have much faith in her to do her job anyway. I mean, I didn't vote for it. No one did.
I ain't got any fucking faith in the whole fucking government.
Wow, to hear you say that. Mate. No, I agree.
Oh.
I agree. I don't know. All I'm going to say is, so far, just through sheer luck, where so many other people are suffering in this country, the wife and I aren't. Because, you know, when everything started toppling and all the rent prices went up?
Yeah.
For once, the wife and I came out on top on that one.
Oh, good.
Because, you know, in previous history, we've not had fantastic landlords.
No, no.
Well, I get it. Like, landlords they're gonna up their rates, you know, supply and demand and all that, and they need to pay their bills too, and all that.
Yeah.
Well, the house that I'm in now would be between 900 and 1,200. And no, the landlady said, "Hey, yo, 600 quid."
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and yet my mate across the country in I think he's in a 1 or 2 bed flat, like £700+. I was like, fuck.
I believe it. I hate the whole rent market because to me, there's two extremes of the rent market. There is the hyper expensive ones where you'll buy a luxury property, you're paying thousands. You're probably earning enough, but you don't want to have the loads of having to have to deal with property around your neck. So I'll just rent this.
Yeah.
So forth. Then there's the other end are the people who either can't get or can't afford mortgage, so they end up paying fucking twice as much in rent.
Yep.
As they would on a mortgage for a property, because you say your rent's £1,200 could be £1,200 a month. Like hell, would a mortgage cost you that much? That property.
So my mate, one of my mates, I won't mention his name, but he just bought a house. But he got it on, like, his rates were very high because he was a risky lend. And I think he said he's paying somewhere in the regions of like 1.3 on a risky mortgage, right?
Yeah.
On a gambling man's mortgage. That would have only been, you know, £100 more than what we'd be paying worst case scenario in rent.
Yeah.
And that's on a risky ass mortgage. I was talking to a neighbour across the road and he's like, "Yeah, man, my mortgage is only 500 quid." I was like, that's you know, that's less than we pay in rent.
Yeah, that's the insane thing. The rent just that for a lot of people, rent keeps poor people poor.
Yeah, and I mean, and the bank will say to you, yeah, well, you can't, you wouldn't be able to pay the mortgage. It's like, are you stoned? Like, we've been paying,
Yeah.
half a grand, nearly a grand for, in mine and the wife's case, like 13 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not good for a mortgage.
No, it is. Fuck it. And of course you're paying, and basically, unless you're stuck because you're paying a lot more rent than you would on a mortgage, you can't save easily to get a deposit to pay to get a mortgage.
It's true. It is true. I'm not gonna lie. I could earn more. But I don't. And because I don't, there is no wiggle room to save.
Yeah.
So chances of me ever getting a mortgage, not fucking likely, and especially not the way the rates are going, the market's going. I'll never be able to afford a house.
Yeah. If you're unfortunately saddled with a nasty landlord, you're fucked, really.
Yeah, I will say at this one time, thankfully, our landlady is a diamond, absolute fucking diamond.
I'm glad.
So,
I'm gonna guess. I guess she's one of those people who owns property doesn't actually need it, as it were.
we're her first tenant.
Oh right, okay.
But this was the first place she bought to rent out, and we were her first tenants. And bless her, she has bent over backwards for us since we moved in here. She heard some of our other horror stories, and she was like, "Oh wow, there are people like." I mean, we moved in and we got a folder. She gave us a folder, all the documentation, loads of instructions for where things were, how they worked. People we could call if we needed to get anything repaired, just like everything was there. Like this nice kind of like a folder with full of cheat sheets, basically, as if we'd been living in the house and organised it ourselves. We had a drain issue where one of the pipes dropped, and she came down to the house so that she would talk to the workmen and the insurance companies, and she bought us. Because when the pipe dropped, everything just came back into the house, and it was not nice. And she bought us all new towels. She treated the kids to food. She sat with us for days.
Fantastic!
Really, really nice woman. She used to buy us. We get Christmas cards and stuff like that. She was really. She's a really, really nice woman. Compared to some of the other landlords and landladies we've had in previous years, fucking diamond. Never had a landlady so in it for the right reasons, if you get what I mean. We're not just a cash grab, a piggy bank for her.
I feel a lot of landlords just see renting properties as easy money.
Yeah.
You can charge you can charge a lot of money for it, people pay it, and you basically almost just sort of let the money roll in.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they have a problem or so forth, you can delay and push them off as long as you possibly can, so the money keeps rolling in and you're not have to spend any money on it.
Yep.
And that is wrong. That is absolutely horrifically wrong.
Roof in the garage went. She paid to have it replaced. No questions asked. She paid to have it replaced. Boiler blew. No questions asked. Workman came round, no time flat. Paid to have it replaced.
Yeah.
Fence got kicked in by the neighbours. She was there in a heartbeat.
Beat the neighbours up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she actually helped install part of the flooring. She came around to do it herself.
Oh, good for her.
For part of the flooring in one of the rooms, and came around to put in some of the fencing and that, and
I mean, there are, if you have yours where the way it should. There are some advantages to working to rental properties where, as you say, if you have a problem, you basically don't have to deal with it almost. It's a problem and they have to deal with it all. So there are advantages to renting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But whether, in my experience, the people who charge the most tend to help the least.
Yeah, I agree.
Who I know who rent. Usually, it's the people who charge less than they could, like yours, who seem to be the good ones.
Yeah, for sure. Because you can tell they've got good moral standing, and they're not just in it for the money. I mean, we've had landlords before where boilers have been condemned, and rather than getting it done, they've evicted us. or
Yeah.
we'll say that we've got a problem, and they will leave us without like hot water or whatever for months and months and months, and then blame us for it.
Yeah.
The market is a minefield out there.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe 1 in 5 you'll get a good one.
I think, yeah, I maybe there should be some scheme where landlords have to be like licensed landlord. If you do something like a problem property and you don't get it fixed within a reasonable amount of time, you get a point on your license, and after so many points, that's it. You can't be a landlord anymore.
That would be fantastic. Quality assurance.
Yeah.
I think that'd be neat. It's just it's like, as you say though, some landlords, they see the old dollar signs, they see the pound signs, and they just
I think some landlords go into it thinking it's easy money.
Yeah, and then when they see the cash coming back out, going the other way.
Yeah.
When
they have to deal with something.
Yep.
When they have to actually, I mean, I've got to ring up the plumber and get the plumber to come fix the boiler. What? I'm here. I plan to spend today sipping my margarita on the deck terrace.
Mm-hmm.
After doing my half hour of work.
It's insanity, isn't it? We're clearly in the wrong business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the whole rental as a scheme is pretty much just a scam, personally. But
yeah, as you say, in some cases it's all right because you got your boiler replaced, or you got your roof repaired or whatever. But then I think to myself, given the amount of money we could have saved had we been mortgaging this place, those bills wouldn't have been a problem anyway.
No.
So,
as long as you were smart enough to put
save.
that money, put that money aside for that purpose. I think trouble is people who tend to have mortgages tend to have it. If they don't think about that, they tend to, the boiler's gone. We've got nothing to pay for it with. Yeah. So
living beyond their means, son.
Yeah. Fishing a tanks, guys. We've discussed it before. People are fishing tanks, and someone who takes home $1,000 a month, someone who takes home 10 grand a month. At the end of the month, they probably ain't got much left, either of them.
Yeah, I mean, and they say the more money you got, the more money you spend.
Well, yeah, you have a nicer car. You have more subscription services. You have, I'm going to buy the new iPhone this month and I'll upgrade more often.
I ain't gonna
go
lie,
out more.
I used to be that guy. Well, maybe 15, 20 years ago, around the time when you and I were in university, I was on a good fucking wage. A really good wage. Like, I could just walk into a Suzuki dealership and buy the newest bike out there. Just buy it. Bam, done. New iPhone came out, as you say, I could go down there and buy it in cash. I often did. I'd buy these devices with cash. I looked like a fucking drug dealer.
You used to go through so many mobiles.
Yeah. Because again, it fits with a drug dealer thing. But I can assure you I wasn't. But I would blow through money like you wouldn't fucking believe. And it wasn't until I realized that stuff wasn't making me happy. Money didn't make me happy. That I cut back. I earn less now. I spend less now, and everything I have, I fucking cherish.
Yeah.
But
he's got his Dreamcast. What more could he want?
Yeah, that's it. I'm literally living the dream, son. Hey, these days, what do you need consoles for if you can just emulate the fuck out of everything?
Yes. Oh, did I tell you Minimiser's getting a Steam Deck?
You did, but you didn't say if he'd actually got one or not.
He's ordered it. It's
coming.
It's ordered. It's on its 2 to 4 week delivery. He's ordered the top end model.
Good man.
And he's asked me to ask you to help if you can help him set up for emulation.
Yes, there's a script for that.
Yeah, I said, he asked me about it. I said, mate, I'm the wrong person to ask about. I said, you tell Skazz. Skazz will no doubt have all the stuff you need to know how to do it.
I figured he was going to ask that, and there's a script called EmuDeck 2.0, and that is just literally a click, say where you want it installed, and fucking bam, it installs all the ROMs or all the emulators, and then you just have to source the ROMs, and I think you've got all the way up to like PlayStation 2 or something like that you can run on the Steam Deck.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so he is going to be happy as a pig in shit. And I was thinking about it the other day actually. I've been really psyched for the idea that Middlemeister was going to get a Steam Deck, because two things dawned on me. One, this is Middlemeister's first real jump into PC gaming. He's been strictly a console gamer for forever, right? Two, my fucking gods, his first dive into PC gaming is on Linux.
Yeah.
So, he is that, I don't know, that diamond use case. You know, like the tester. You know, you're like, well, who hasn't used a PC before?
Yeah, and he's gone straight into having a Steam box, effectively.
Yeah, exactly. He's gone straight into a consoleized PC for one, a budget consoleized PC, and a Linux box. If there was ever anyone that could like prove that it's ready for the main stage, it's Middlemeister. Yeah. And I also then gave it some thought. I was like, well, what would be funny is I did a video the other day showing off Middlemeister is buying a Steam Deck. Funny thing is, he could now join the podcast again. Because Discord will run on it. Web cameras are cheap. Get him a cheap microphone. If he then wanted to, he could actually buy a capture card, hook that into the Steam Deck, and stream his PlayStation or whatever like that through the Steam Deck. It's powerful enough to do all of the things that we do. If he really wanted to.
Well, he has talked about coming back on the podcast. He doesn't have our sort of work plans don't line up very much anymore. I said to him, he's got a little laptop, but it's I say laptop.
Chromebook.
It's a Chromebook. I said, well, I think I've checked, you can get Discord for Chrome. It will run, and it can plug in the thing. I said, look, come on, bring it over to work one day, and I'll go through. And I can't promise it will work very well because it's the Chromebook, but it might work enough that we can get you a webcam and set for streaming.
Yep.
We ain't done that, but that was there. So I think he would like to come rejoin us the podcast, but I'll let him know he can do it on the Steam Deck. Might as well get him sorted on Steam Deck to do it.
Well, I mean, it's got a desktop mode. So he could just hook it up to his TV, hook up a mouse and keyboard to a dock, and he's got himself a full PC gaming setup. You know, he can largely do whatever he wants. He can. I've edited video on it in the last couple weeks just to prove a point. I've done live streams from it, not like playing the game and streaming. Well, I have. I've done a couple of those, but it's plenty capable, depending on what it is you want to do with it. I would suggest that he goes out and buys himself a nice memory card, though.
He has already.
Good.
He has, yeah. He's bought what did he say? Was it a terabyte? 2 terabytes?
I bought a terabyte for mine. I really hope he didn't buy a cheap, nasty knockoff, though, because if he did, he's going to have a hard time.
I don't know.
But yeah, if he wants to set up the OMU deck and that, I'll help him out. I haven't installed MU deck on mine because mine's completely loaded with Steam games. But if he wanted to run MU deck, I could also help him source the ROMs, which I know I say I shouldn't, but I know that Middlemeister's a good guy.
You know a legal place to buy the ROMs from.
He's got I have all the licenses because you've seen my games collection. It's stupid. And I know that Middlemeister owns many of the games. I'll just let him have the ones that he owns a license to.
No, wink, wink. Yes, no, you own all these games, don't you? I said, yes, I do. Okay, here you go.
Well, it's funny actually, because I pulled apart my emulation PC the other day because Windows had failed on it. So, yeah, I know. So,
Skazz, I'm about to say something very stupid. Okay, touching wood. I built one PC about 6 years ago, Windows, and it's not broken on me. Mm-hmm. You've had like 3, and they've all failed.
So, yeah, I mean, it all started going wrong, if you think about it, in 2012.
Also,
No, it was later than that. It was 2017. Sorry, 2017. Every machine I've had since 2017 has gone bad in one form or another, unless it's been like one of my budget Linux rigs. Well, with the exception of when the Windows install and all the files are still there. Just it doesn't see Windows when you try and boot. But whatever. So I'm trying to think, like, so I had my old laptop, the gaming laptop that we used to do the podcast off of when we started.
yeah.
No. Sorry, that was a model after the one I got. The one that Middlemeister got a bit worried because he put a camera on it and scratched the top of it. That was the 2017 one. The fan in that broke, and so it basically became a brick because trying to source a fan for that fucking thing was a nightmare. It took me a year.
I remember that.
To find that part because the model number listed, the fan number listed, wasn't the one that laptop needed. So I had to take the whole laptop cooling assembly apart just to find the model number of the fan that I needed, because all the places that were listing it wrong. So good job. But I managed to get that fixed. Then we built Doomslayer, and I had to replace every single piece in that PC. I built that in 2020. That was new RAM, new motherboard, new power.
What you're saying is you built two PCs in 2020.
Yeah, and then I went through 2 graphics cards because I had 2 graphics cards failures. Although, if I had to be honest with you, I think that might have been an issue with my motherboard. An issue between the graphics card and the motherboard, because I've swapped over to NVIDIA, a much bigger, much more power hungry card. It's working fine. But those cards, some of those were broken out of the box. But then again, they weren't bought during the chip shortage, so...
Yeah, how reliable what was coming out?
I mean, there were two different generations, a 5700 XT and a 6600 XT. But they both had the same issues. So... You know, although I am tempted when I can get the cash, I'm going to use the old case and the old power supply, and start putting bits in the old case to build a second PC.
Yeah,
just for shits and giggles. It won't be anywhere near as powerful as Belial or Zaber's machine, but I'd like to have that second thing. But yeah, I've probably gone through 3 or so machines. Funny enough, Alcatraz, that machine I had when you first came round my bungalow, all those years ago. I built that when the kids were like 2 years old, and the only thing that ever went wrong in that, I had a bad stick of RAM, not a problem to fix. All right.
Nope.
That was
literally a 30-second job.
Yeah, and that was back when RAM was cheap. I think I'd had 1 hard drive failure, but you have to understand that was running all day, every day for like a decade. What else? A graphics card failed. And
I'm glad you're working with every component again.
But again, over the lifetime of the machine, given that, no offense, Ram, I put my machines through a lot more stress than you do.
Yeah.
So, you know, where you'll be like, you know, you'll play a few games, you'll be playing them on, you know, high settings or whatever. You're driving, up until recently, you're only really driving like a couple of small displays that tapped out at 60. You know, I'm rendering every day, I'm streaming every day, files are going on and off these drives every day. You know, it's not like I'm gentle with my machines. You know, one of my encoding jobs was that last night had the proc pinned for like 6 hours. So there ain't that many. I mean, you know, PC gamers, sarcastic air quotes, that are, you know, oh, my PC's great. Yeah, not many of you are actually getting your PC to run full bore for hours and hours and hours on end. I'm doing it every day. So that's not, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, chuck shade or anything, but just, you know, I'm not particularly easy on my rigs.
Yeah, I look after my PCs. Your PC's like little pit ponies. Whereas mine is like a little sort of pet thoroughbred horse. You know, it gets took out occasionally. Well, maybe not a thoroughbred. But it gets took out occasionally for a little trot round the garden. But most of it stays in the field and stuff. Yours are down a coal mine every day.
That is pretty much the groove. I mean, like I say, Alcatraz weren't so bad. I mean, the bad sticker RAM was very early on, and I sent that back to Corsair, and they were adamant there was nothing wrong with it. And so for a time, I refused to buy Corsair RAM because when I ran a memory check, it's fine if you ran a memory check on it for like a day, it was fine. But as soon as you got to like day 3, everything went completely wrong. And because obviously I've got my machine on every day, transferring files every day. I was getting.
It's the cosmic rays. I keep telling you.
Yeah, well, what can I say? I'm just not that lucky. And again, the graphics card. I'll tell you actually, when Alcatraz started going wrong was when I was storing it in that garage.
Yes.
At this place.
That's not unreasonable, is it? Really, think about it.
No, for sure.
That garage was pretty cool and pretty damp.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, when things started to go wrong, that was where it was living, and I wasn't surprised. It had lived a hard life up until that point. It still works now.
Yeah, the poor pit pony had silicosis.
But now I've finally got a machine that, touch wood, kind of works. But yeah, fucking hell, man, what a nightmare. So, because I've had all this hardware trouble, I haven't really had a chance to play anything. So, have you done anything this?
Yes, I have.
Thank fuck.
It's okay. We managed to fill half an hour discussing Lizz Trust, Landlords, and PCs. So we've done all right.
I was going to say, it's funny though, because I literally scrambled all day today to get a machine ready to do this podcast. To most people, this is no different than the normal setup, but that's because I've unhooked cameras and that all lived in the same positions, and I've just wired them up into a different machine. But it was an absolute nightmare. I thought I was going to get the replacement hard drive today. And I was like, yeah, no, and I was like,
yeah. Well then.
So what have you been playing, son?
Well, I've been playing a game called Cryofall.
Right.
A survival game. You are a person who finds themselves on a planet, and you have to build, collect resources, build structures, build things, which unlock more resources, blah, blah, blah. You know how a survival game works.
Never played one, mate.
And I am go for thing. Now, it's a game that's very much clearly intended to be a multiplayer game. You're meant to be on a server with lots of people because the way it's set up is around that idea. You can run you can run a local server effectively. And if you run a local server, all like the respawn times for like the resources you get is faster. Because again, I think it's a case of a bit like Valheim, where things chug along in the background when it's running.
Right.
So you go on like a day, spend some time mining, and then come back the next day, and it's all respawned the next day.
Okay.
Type situation. This is sort of more like it will respawn a lot more quicker, so you can play as single player because the server only exists when you're running it.
Sure.
So forth, but it's very clearly geared sort of that idea of you and your mates team up and you do PvE, PvP on these servers and what have you, and you run a server and join it, what have you, and go around. So yes, it's sort of the way you feel it's leading towards that is, it's all 2D graphics, little sprite graphics. So again, low resources required, so it can run effectively. The way you build bases, you have to put down a land claim, which gives you a certain number of tiles. It's basically everything. It's although your character can move sort of in all sort of cardinal directions, it's top down sort of view.
Okay.
Not quite isometric, but sort of top down with sort of like a slight sort of. It's designed to sort of look like the camera's slightly lowered, but otherwise it's top down. But everything's based around tiles. You can see it's a tile based system, and it's a grid based system.
Yeah.
So when you have a land claim, that gives you a certain size grid, and as you upgrade your tech, you can make the land claim bigger. And basically, once you want to land claim it, you can only build your structures in that land claim zone.
Right.
Other players can't build stuff there, and I believe they can't damage stuff in those zones either.
Oh,
I believe, yeah. So you can, you have got limits of what you can. So you've got that's again ties into the we're going to, where we are a multiplayer themed game, so you can't just build a massive spawning base somewhere. You are limited to what space you can take up,
sure,
and so forth. But it's the usual thing. So you start off with you've basically got nothing. You sort of, when you first sort of spawn, you've got nothing to do. You've got to like clever your basic resources to get going, build a fire, build basic tools, build a bed. If you don't have a bed, if you die, you just have to respawn anywhere on the map, and it will respawn you randomly on the map somewhere.
all right.
I don't know. I suspect, because it's to spawn somewhere in the world, I suspect that it's limited because parts of the world are definitely higher level than others. And there's no levels per se. You don't have a level. Your character has skills that go up. There's no like overall character level. But some areas you'll encounter a lot more dangerous creatures than others.
Okay.
So the world has also got a place where it's more dangerous areas. Once you build a bed, you can then basically your respawn point, and you can build other beds, and they become your new respawn point where you set them up, so forth. You can build I think you could build a bed without a land claim. I don't think you need a land claim to build a bed. So you can set respawn points around the world if you really want to. Pretty quickly you can then build, pretty quickly you can build weapons. Why also in this game actually? There's fucking hell's a lot in it. Cool, there's so much stuff in it. Weapons go through all the way from basic crossbows all up to you build muskets, you build rifles, you build machine guns, all the way up to energy weapons. I've played the game about 10, 11 hours, and I would say barely scratched the surface of what's in it. Your armor has protection against 10 different types of damage. There's physical damage, radiation damage, psychic damage, mutation damage. So many things that you can happen to you. You can research bionics and become a cyborg. You can get mutated. You can discover alien artifacts and build them and so forth. And it's got a lot to offer when you're going. I would say I feel that the playing locally definitely feels like you're playing in easy mode, in that everything respawns so quickly.
Right.
I've had no trouble finding resources. Now you can configure all that. If you're playing locally, you can go into the server and actually change all the drop rates.
So you can artificially you can nerf yourself effectively.
You can, yeah. But by default, it's too forgiving. Within the first sort of night of playing it, because before I start talking about how bad things, let's talk about sort of the mechanics of it. So you have your character, you build things. You've got crafting, you've got crafting, which you can craft tools and what have you. You've got buildings, which you build structures. You have skills. Skills are, you don't put points into them. Instead, skills are unlocked. You discover skills by performing the actions. So if you go, if you get a gun and start shooting things, after all, you unlock the small arms skill, and then as that skill goes up in level, you'll get more abilities, and like say Skyrim does or Elder Scrolls does. As you use weapons, you get better at them and so forth. That's how you increase the skill. There's no skill point system. There's no levels, as I said earlier. You also, every time you do something, you also get learning points. And these learning points are used to unlock technologies. So that's how you upgrade your base and so forth. So technology, you have, there's 6 tiers. Tier 6 is actually escape planet.
Okay.
There's 3 sort of tiers of things. And those tiers will have primary technologies. And you have to fully develop, as in lock everything on the tree on those primary technologies before you can unlock the next tier. There's secondary technologies which give you, other stuff. So primary technologies is usually buildings in there. there'll be something like farming was quite one of the primary technologies. Later on, I think tier 2, there's electricity as well as a primary technology. Just give you some examples of stuff you can unlock. And you can't, so your limit to how far you can get to the next tier is blocked off by these primary technologies. And then the second technology, which are being things like armor, defenses, weapons, chemistry. You can build a chemistry and craft chemicals and stuff, which you use to make more powerful things. Like you might be able to craft chemicals to make batteries, for example. There's Xeno, geo resource where you can like learn how to like build oil refineries and miners and stuff. I see farming in there. Sometimes you've got there's quite a few sort of tech trees. There's a lot of stuff to unlock. There's a lot of things you can unlock as your time goes on, and some pretty advanced gear you can unlock. What I did find, though, however, was, again, because I based it on the single player mode, is I got learning points so quickly, I was pretty much able to unlock an entire tier and go through this entire tier structure fairly quickly, almost instantly, and effectively bypass whole chunks of stuff that was also meant to be an intermediary.
Okay.
So I basically, before I had need of it, I basically unlocked the ability to build shotguns, which are like the next tier up from muskets. And I unlocked that before I actually even really needed them.
So without other players, scaling is broken.
It is, yeah. It is. It's too easy on single player mode.
Kind of like if we were playing Demio, where that kind of auto scales as you're going. You know, the more players, the harder it gets.
Yes, it does. But then also your team is dealing out more damage per turn as well.
Sure.
Because I know obviously Demio scales the monster's abilities. I don't know. You might know. Does Demio scale how many monsters are spawned based on how many players there are?
I ain't gonna lie, I have no idea, but that'd be something I'd be interested in looking into.
Yeah. My gut says it probably just scales the monsters, like health and so forth, rather than the respawn rate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a player of players. I can't really comment too much on how balanced it is, but it certainly feels like I feel I've got where I am really quickly. I don't feel I've had to work for it. Whereas, like, say, Satisfactory, which isn't really a survival game, because although there's hostiles, you don't need to eat, you don't need to drink, you don't need to, like, collect rainwater and stuff like that. That, to get to, like, unlocking the newer technologies and so forth, you had to put a lot of effort in to get there, and it was very wardy when you did get it. Whereas this is really quick to get there.
Sure.
So there's that. The map, the level, it's not a randomly generated map. The map is fixed, and it's very easy to find online. I've sort of like explored. I feel I've explored 15% of the map. Obviously, you're limited by sort of speeds up, but again, fairly quickly you'll unlock the ability to, like water, for example. So you've got water and food as your only main sort of resource you need to worry about for health, like sort of living wise. Both are fairly easy to get hold of. Once you've got some glass and we can make glass bottles, you can soon build a well, rain catcher, or boil water fairly quickly, very easy on any sort of fire. So water's not a big deal. Food, I'm at a stage now where I've got more food than I can realistically. It'll have gone off by the time I actually need to eat it. So again, food has like say Ark Survival Evolved, food eventually rots.
Sure.
If you don't do anything with it, and then obviously, one thing I have noticed actually, what seems to be, is it's food obviously stacks your inventory, but it doesn't seem to keep track of individual food's sort of like freshness. So say a food's going to rot in 50 minutes.
If you put more stuff on top of the stack, the whole lot goes.
In 50 minutes, yeah.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, which feels a little. It seems to be that way. It's not almost. It seems to be like, well, that's not great.
Yeah, not ideal.
Not ideal. No. So that's a bit of an annoyance. Again though, I've not had any real issues with the food that I actually wanted to sort of like keep and eat, I've not had any issues with it running out. To that stage, I've all kept it. The food I don't really care about. I've not worried about it. It's eventually it rots, and it's like, oh, I don't even remember when you rotted. I don't really care. Most time, confusingly, when it says 15 minutes, it means 50 real world minutes, not game minutes. So I was like, shit, I ain't got long to eat this. Oh no, that's real world minutes and so forth. And obviously, if you cook the food, it resets the timer and that sort of stuff.
Sure.
So, and you can build fridges and stuff to put the food in, which keeps it chilled. Oh, there's so much to unlock in this game.
So would you say then that realistically, ideally at this point, it's a game that would be better if you could get your mate? Like, is it?
Yeah.
Competitive or
you can do. There is PvP, and it's. I believe you can like set up a server. I mean, I'm not sure players.
Could we all not kill each other or what? You know.
I think you.
Is there anything specific to do or?
So your overall goal is to get off the planet.
Right.
So the top, once you get through your 5 tiers of tech, tier 6 is basically to escape the planet.
Right.
So that's your that's what you're working.
Because you're playing single player, you wouldn't know if anyone else has already left the planet because you're the only one on the planet, kind of thing. Like, is there? Like
yeah. I don't know if you escape, you win.
Yeah.
As it were, against the players. I think it's more case you escaped, but other players can escape after you. I don't honestly know.
Sure.
Is the honest truth to that answer. I'd imagine it's like I don't know if it's a case of like I don't know if it's like was it Civilization, where the first person to launch a rocket to Alpha Centauri won. Sure. Or that was one of the winning options. I don't think it's like that in this game where whoever gets it wins games. You personally have succeeded.
Well, I mean, how much is it? What platforms is it on?
It's on PC, Steam. This is the other thing. Now, this is a criticism, and it's not criticism is the wrong word. This is something I dislike about it, and this is a very objective dislike about it. I accept it's not really the game's fault. I really dislike the art style.
Oh.
The art style, I was fairly convinced early on that this game was a mobile game that had been transferred to PC. Because the art style made me think of a mobile game.
Oh.
I'm gonna. Well, let me send you the link to through Discord for you to the website.
Ram, you're being pretty damning.
It's what I merely thought. I thought this is a mobile game, and it's the way sort of like the way you move around. It felt a bit like I thought this is a mobile game. It's been transferred to PC because. You basically, once he moves you around, and then wherever direction your mouse is relative to your character is what determines which direction you're facing, which feels sort of touch control-y, interfacey style.
I've seen this.
Do you see what I mean when I say it feels like a mobile game?
Yeah.
I really dislike the art style. All the characters have got really big heads compared to their bodies. And also, all the animals you encounter are like designed to fit in a certain size tile, so that all the animals they've got broken backs.
Right.
I just don't like it. I don't generally just do not like it at all. I've sort of like got to a stage now where I don't really notice it anymore. I agree. I admit that is a very petty. And I say an objective dislike for it. So,
I could understand that. I mean, I won't entirely sold on it. I have played other games that look like that, you know. But I don't know.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a picture of all the animals in the game.
So can I throw out there do you know what that reminds me of? And people will jump down my throat because I got some flack the other day. It reminds me a bit of cartoony Fallout.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I mean, I know you can say, well, it's a top-down view and that, but like wastelands and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the monster pictures.
Okay.
That's one that's in game. What a monster actually looks like. That's a hyena.
Okay, now that graphically looks alright, but I see what you mean by it being squished.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite in context. I don't think I've got. I'm trying to find a picture of it in play, but it doesn't look right. I mean, as it sort of quality of it is fine.
Yeah.
The quality of the graphic is fine. I just don't really like the style. I find the style a bit
I get you.
and so forth.
Just unfortunate, really.
Yeah. There's another one.
I just want. Oh, that one doesn't look too bad.
But again, do you know something? It looks like it's got a broken back, like it's got an arched back.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like I say, it's a very petty, objective point of view. So it's not.
In fairness, though, at the end of the day, Ram, what you like and what I like, very, very, very different. And I think there should be a bit more objectivity in gaming because everything's subjective in gaming.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. This, minor rant, just a little rant. I've just checked. It's only available on Windows, so it doesn't have any no official Steam Deck support. Although it is yellow badge playable, they say. Sometimes the game shows mouse and keyboard or non-Steam Deck controller icons. That's cool. You'd be able to figure that out. But everything else is apparently Steam Deck ready. 16
I mean, the whole winter. Yes.
Okay.
I would.
It looks like an old web game, a very old web game.
Yeah. To be fair to it, £16, yes, but there is an awful lot to do in this game.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot going on. There's a lot of things in it that I've not even touched. There's vehicles in it. You can do a lot of shit in this game, to be fair to it, which is one advantage of actually having a 2D graphics, so you can get a lot more in it because obviously your turnaround's a lot quicker on it. So actually, I personally feel that price is probably roughly right because the amount of stuff. When I thought £16, that seems a bit steep, but actually, sort of like when I look through what you can do for everything, shit, there's a lot in this game. It's one of the more in-depth survival style games that I've certainly played and come across, and there's plenty more to do in it, certainly. So I would say it's probably about a right price, to be fair to it, if I'm honest. Which, again, I've just said I don't like the art style. It's a bit of a piece. I mean, now I've got to the stage where I'm sort of pushing myself a bit more, and I'm not quite so comfortable. I find myself wanting to play it more.
Oh, okay.
When I first played, it was like, this is just too easy. I sort of bounced off it, and this is what I find with survival games in general. When they're hard, I enjoy them and play them more.
When they're comfortable, there's no hook.
Yeah, once you have there comes a point in a lot of survival games of, hey, you can build a base and you can have all this stuff in it. Look how base, isn't it cool? You get this great base going. As soon as I get to that stage, though, I'm bored.
Yeah.
So one of my one of my most favourite survival games recently is Green Hell, which you can build bases and so forth. However, even when you build a base, it's still quite hard. There's still unfair. You can still walk across a spider and be dead within 10 minutes. And there's nothing you can do really. If you're lucky, you might want to craft what you need to do, but realistically, you're probably dead. You're always against it, and the game it's got a certain degree of not unfairness, but harshness to it.
Yeah,
and that's why I liked it. I mean, I think you mentioned the other day wanting to consider going back into it in VR and having another go at it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Which for you, because I always think you're not a great fan of survival games.
Here's the trick. I'm not, but I mean, I almost bounced off Green Hell midway through. Do you remember when we all got separated? Me, you, and Xavier got separated, and I ended up where the plane crash happened? That I got so frustrated at that point because I could hardly move a few feet from where I was with no gear and just get killed. And it was such a nightmare to navigate. But as soon as we started to find the natives, as we were starting to move towards the center of the island, that got much more fun. It some of the deaths I was suffering in Green Hell seemed really, really cheap. Other times it was it was really fun. But like I don't know, when they said they were doing Green Hell VR, I thought, how fun would that be to just turn around and see, like, I don't know, a crocodile just coming out of the fucking water, or one of the big cats just jump at you. Because it's one thing playing it in first person, but it doesn't feel like anything, does it? There was just this idea of, because I remember many a time we're walking along thinking we were safe, and all of a sudden one of us has just been fucking chomped down on by a big cat, or and we're all trying to scramble to get to get away, like save the person and get away, or grab some gear and get away. I think that'd be great.
There were lots of moments in that game.
Oh yes.
And I said, you never felt safe, really. You could get comfortable. It's like, right, we've got a good supply of food, we've got a good supply. But the thing is, one death, and that's all gone.
Yep. Well, it made me think of another one actually like that, is Rust.
I've not played Rust.
Jesus fucking Christ. That game is unapologetically fucking difficult at times. The tutorial is shit. The controls aren't ideal. And because you're playing against other players as well, it can be really, really brutal. Like, trying to find the resources to stay alive is pretty fucking hard. And then you could find yourself getting killed by bears, by wolves, by, you know, whatever. It gets pretty intense.
The other game I played, which I really enjoyed, and it's sort of survival action game, is 7 Days to Die.
Yeah, you spoke quite fondly of that one.
I really like that one.
The one with the zombie waves and you were digging under.
So that's the one where every 7 days. So the zombies are about all the time, but every 7 days they go there's like a blood moon. They go feral and they just come at you and they will just attack you. So you've got basically 7 days to fortify your base and then fight them off and survive. And you probably won't the first time, but as time you get, and it's a voxel-based game as well. So you can you can sort of like mine and dig tunnels and all sorts. It's honestly a real favourite game of mine. I really enjoyed 7 Days to Die because, again, that was one of the few games where I got a base established, but I didn't feel bored at that point because the zombies will still attack in. Even if we were defences, they can still break in. One of my fondest memories was I really heavily fortified my base, and I'm just downstairs in my sort of like living room, and I can just hear them outside breaking through my defences layer by layer by layer. And I know at some point they're going to break in. I don't know where, but it's that horror movie side of just hearing the monsters outside, just
good
scraping
atmosphere.
and break. It was really good, yeah. And I mean, yes, I did dig a massive tunnel underneath the ground, and so to like a hunting ground zone, and yeah, if you die, that was a game where if you die, you drop your backpack, so you get your backpack back. But my God, if you died in the wrong place, you're fucked.
Yeah.
That is one of my of survival games. It's one of the most fond ones I've played in the last few years, and I would love to us to do that for games like that. That'd be hilarious.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Yeah.
I think we should probably do more of those kind of survival games because, as I said, if they've got the right atmosphere, even if, because I mean, Zaber's not really into that kind of game either. But when a moment happens, when that magic happens, you'll never forget it. That'll be like a top gaming moment right there.
Well, 7 Days to Die would be probably good because at some point you are going to get attacked. You know it's going to happen, and you've got 7 days to get ready for it, so you know it's going to happen. So that's kind of sort of a driving force. What I Also, actually, the funny thing I was about games like the other night, I thought, do you know one game I don't think it's on our list that we have? Yes, we've all probably played quite a lot of it, but we haven't mentioned it for games night, which I think would be fun for us to do, and that's Minecraft.
Yeah,
And survival mode of Minecraft,
could do.
and just travel through sort of rather than so much base, but also like being nomads and just travel through the world.
Well, it's funny actually because my lot already did that. I mean, you were on the server at one point.
Yeah.
And my mission wasn't just to build a base. I made a base away from the kids because they were little trolley bastards at the time. But my mission was to, because you can make maps.
Yes.
My mission was to get enough resources to basically map out the land around my house. And so I would travel block by block by block, making this map until I filled this map, and then I would go back and put it on the wall of my house. And so that was kind of my thing. I was having little mini adventures to see what the game would randomly generate. I mean, it was one of those random moments that got me into Minecraft to begin with, because I didn't I played Minecraft in the early days, back when you could play it in the browser. But I bounced off it hardcore. The only thing that was fun in the game at the time is that you could use TNT to blow up mountains, because that looked fucking hilarious. Just watching these little boxes of TNT flying everywhere and just loads of stuff just like carnage happen, right?
Yeah, that mode of will my PC crash when I do this?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. But then one day I was dicking around in Minecraft, and I'm walking through this kind of cave system, and all of a sudden there's this glow. And you got to think this is before ray tracing and all that kind of stuff. And as I head towards the glow, there's like the moonlight had started shining through the top of this cave, and there was a small patch of dirt in the center of this cave, in the stone cave, and there was like a little rose just growing out of that single piece of dirt. And I was like, that looked fantastic. I actually screenshot it at the time. I don't have the screenshot anymore because, computer troubles. But that was my Minecraft moment. I was like, this is gorgeous. I could find loads of really random, neat little shit like this. Like, had I have not just been dicking around in this cave network, I'd have never have found it. You know, it's not like the game pointed me to it. It's not like if I play the game again, it'll generate the same kind of cave. So it's just always fun to explore.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic game. I can't recommend Minecraft enough to people. Now, I still think it's a fantastic game. So,
but we'll have to give it a go. We need to. Well, I think we need to go back down our list of games again.
Yeah.
Now that we can all play games again. Now that my PC's working and Zaber's got a somewhat more up to date machine.
Yeah. I am itching though to play after we've got through demo. I'm itching us to play a shooter again though.
Yes,
it's been a while since we played a shooter. Co-op shooter, even something old school something really old school like Left 4 Dead, or what's that one that's sort of almost like the unofficial? Is it Back 4 Blood? The almost like unofficial remake of Left 4 Dead.
Not sure. But Can I start there? I've never really played Left 4 Dead.
Have you not?
I've never been able to get a group together to play. I've dabbled in it, but never really had that moment happen. I've never had it click.
Well, now we've all got a good PC. Shall we go back and play a game from the early 2000s?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's play through the original Left 4 Dead, and then we can also go through Left 4 Dead 2 as well.
Sounds fantastic. Let's do it.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, so no, I want to play through that again, and I'm hankering for a shooter now.
Yeah.
After Demio.
Well, there's
and we'll try and play next time. I promise we'll play the correct mission next time.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah.
This looks incredibly familiar. These enemies look incredibly familiar.
But we were all like, God, this is hard. This is one of the hardest we played with it. Yeah. Once we got to the last, I thought, hang on a second. So we got through the majority of the game, because the last bit of the game is actually quite short. The last sort of levels, only about usually in all ones we played, I think the last bit took us about half an hour. out of like a sort of 2-hour play time. And so we got through things. We were like, hang on a second, this doesn't look right. And I said, this looks like the first level. So I was like, nah, it's different, mate. That bit was bigger in the first one. And you're like, no, I think this is the same as the first one.
I'm pretty sure this is the first mission. I've done it enough.
Yeah, and it's like, no, we haven't seen anything different. And it's like, that's a good point. And then the elf appears, like, oh yeah, I fucked up. Whoops.
It was at that moment he realised.
He fucks up.
Good time.
But yeah, so Cryofall. So yeah, Cryofall. I'd probably say if you like survival games, yes, get it, but drop all the respawn rates down to make it harder.
Yeah.
Or go online.
I had a look on the website. They've got community servers for PvE and PvP, and
yeah.
So it's not like you actually have to run your own, like in.
No, you don't. You can set. No, you can use theirs. So, but who wants to play with other people you don't know?
Mate,
I don't like playing with other people. I don't trust them.
I will say, actually, this goes back to our rotation in July, which probably helped kill my laptop, to be fair. But playing free-to-play games was surprisingly fun. We just said about playing with other people, like playing Counter-Strike, Dota 2, League of Legends, Valorant. You know, it's like, you know, these days you've got Overwatch 2 because Overwatch is now free. All these games that you could play for hours and hours and hours and hours and never put a penny into it. And they're good games too.
Yeah. Like,
whilst it's nice to say, oh, you know, why play with other people? Well, actually, no, because some RPGs these days are free, aren't they? Like Genshin Impact and that. It's a good,
yes.
Good times these days to be a gamer, unless they use kernel level anti-cheats.
Yes.
But you know, I think we should probably actually play some of those free-to-play multiplayer games like that. We did have Call of Duty Warzone on there at one point, didn't we? I think that might have been
still on the list. Yeah, it's still there.
Is it even still running, or have they changed it to a different version yet?
Let's have a look.
Because you want to, you know, if you want to sink your teeth into a shooter, well, let's go Left 4 Dead and then go to Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's still available.
Call of
Duty.
On there.
Yeah, still there. Call of Duty.
Modern Welfare.
Yeah, that's still on there.
Cool. So at least that way we've got, but there's no reason for us to go, oh mate, we can't play that because we haven't got any monies to buy the games. We haven't got our podcaster money yet. We haven't had our Manscaped deal yet.
Not yet, no. I don't need to manscape because I'm a man. I don't manscape. I let it all go au natural.
I was gonna say I could probably use their trimmer on my fucking skull. Go out a bit of a dickhead.
Yeah, I'm debating beard or no beard at the moment. I'm saying, do I let the beard grow out or do I trim it off again?
Beard, always. Fucking
I
always.
just wish it grew more above my lip. This is as thick as it gets. I really want to go for a proper sort of what's that really weird artist? What was his name?
That guy.
With the curly moustache.
I know what you're on about, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go that route and have a little curly moustache there.
But it's not happening now.
No, I get this little patch of bum fluff and that's it.
Just rocking himself the chaplain.
Yeah. Yeah. The chaplain. Yeah. I'm not rocking the chaplain, no.
You're rocking the Hitler?
No, that is clearly not. That Hitler's toothbrush moustache, as it was properly known, this ended here and here. It didn't come all the way round. I'm just a rugged-looking dude at the moment.
We're going to start looking at beard charts to see where Ram sits.
Yeah. Oh no, because there've been lots of people like saying this bit says it's about you, and if you're not like this, you're like a hipster shithole.
Well, it's like, at the end of the day, there's only a handful of beards I can't handle. But if you start looking like the dude from Motorhead, just put it in the bin.
Dude from Motorhead.
Fucking hell. Actually, I don't remember what Lemmy looks like.
Oh.
Yeah, if you rock that kind of beard, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where the chin is largely clean, yeah, and you've got the burns, get in the bin. Flat out, you look like a prick. Get in the bin.
You're not a fan of Lemmy then?
No, not at all. As a human being, fine. Kind of. I met him at the UEA once.
Oh.
Or was it I could have met him at the UEA? I don't remember now. Because he was sat at the, no, I was told he was sat at the Union Bar. One of the last days we were at uni, Ram. And I had to leave early because Motorhead were playing at the UEA. And he was sat at the bar.
Right, okay. Wow, okay.
But rather than staying and chilling out, I had a prior engagement, so...
Sorry, Lemmy, you're not interested enough to talk to. Bye.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Right. Anything else from you, Skazz?
No, mate. I mean, as I said, I just covered the anti-cheat stuff as well because that's one of the other reasons why some of the games I've wanted to play I can't play because whilst I've had the Steam Deck and I've been using my my Steam Deck to do other stuff, I was actually tempted to use the Steam Deck to do this podcast tonight.
That'd be cool.
Some of the games I wanted to play, I can't play because there's kind of level anti-cheats that aren't supported by Proton. So
that's awkward.
League of Legends works, but it's a faff to install. No Valorant, no Genshin Impact. I think Overwatch 2 works though, but I mean it's Overwatch, and if you're not playing that with your friends, it's not fun at all. Counter-Strike works, Dota's fine, but I really wanted to play some Genshin Impact and Valorant, but not on the cards. If it ain't DRMs, it's anti-cheats, and it's just, get it in the bin. But that's everything I've done, man. That's everything. Hopefully, I'll have my laptop back up and running by... I'll be after the games night.
That's fine. Well, hopefully, what else will be up to? Oh, we'd better talk about our games night. Games night, Tuesday, 25th. Playing Demio. We'll play the correct module this time.
Fingers crossed.
And then we're looking at probably... next Sunday, we will look at doing a VR stream. We're all going to be in VR. We're going to be revisiting Phasmophobia.
Yep.
Because there's some new maps in Phasmophobia.
Yeah. For some reason, I always get that one confused with the Egyptian one that we played.
That was Forewarned.
That's the one. That's had updates too, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Phasmophobia we've all played. Forewarned, we... didn't Zaber didn't play that one with us.
No.
But first of all, I think it'd be really cool for us all playing VR. In-game chat. That's gonna be cool.
I'll have to make sure I don't kick the shit out of anything or punch my light again.
Yeah, try and push your light again. I think that's going to be absolutely hilarious.
Sounds like
so take on this playing new maps, new ghosts. Because like you said, like 2 years of updates, so new maps, new ghosts. I think this would be really cool.
Was it really that long ago?
Yeah, we played that one of the first year of your games night. We played that.
Oh my!
Yeah, because we were playing Forewarned last year.
Oh my!
And we did before we played. Because I said, "Oh, that's like Phasmophobia show. Look at that." But yes, that's hopefully we're hoping to do that on Sunday. Is the plan?
Yes.
So you can come join us that. So you can join me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thesuffolkram.
And I'll be at twitch.tv/Skazius SK4ZZI0US.
So, and then you can join us on our next podcast, which will be on the 5th of November at 9:30. But unfortunately, not plus on GMT because the clock's getting back next week. It's going to get dark in the evening. So look forward to seeing everybody there, and we'll see you then.
Awesome. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.